Hi, I'm April. I am a singer-songwriter and music teacher, and in the last few weeks, like 90% of my students have requested to sing or play or otherwise deconstruct this song, so I figured it'd be really fun to pick it apart, kind of figure out what makes it so special, and teach you how to write your own super sad, really well-written, beautiful version of the song Driver's License. We're gonna get started with the main idea of our song. And the main idea is literally just whatever you would say if you were describing the entire song to somebody in like less than a sentence. So for instance, in the song All You Need Is Love, the main idea is all you need is love. At its core, Driver's License is just a breakup song. So we're gonna start with the main idea. You said you would be here forever, but you left. So if you want to use this idea, that's totally fine. If you want to use something a little bit different, that is also totally fine. It's your song, so there are no rules. I'm going to be writing a song along with this video, so for my song, I've decided that I'm going to use this exact main idea. Driver's License uses a really simple song structure, and we actually just refer to it as pop song structure. And it looks like this. This song does not have a pre-chorus, but if for your song you want to include one, that's totally fine too. Just use that section as a way to kind of get from your verse to your chorus. Once you've chosen your song structure, or if you want to just use this one, that's also great, you can just plug your main idea into every section that says chorus. Your chorus is just going to be the section that reiterates whatever your main idea was. And don't worry if these words aren't perfect right now, this is just shorthand for whatever's going to be there later. So you will get a chance to actually change whatever is in this chorus section. The verses are the part of the song that tell the story. So in the case of Driver's License, we're getting characters, we're getting a little bit of a plot, and we're kind of figuring out what our general scene is going to be. In this song, Olivia Rodrigo does one of my absolute favorite things in songwriting, which is that she describes the empty space around a person, as opposed to describing the person themselves. She gives us the contrast between driving together and driving alone in that very first verse. It's a super simple device and it's really easy to use, but it also packs a really big punch, so it's definitely something that we're going to take advantage of in writing our own songs. For the sake of making sure that this video doesn't go on forever, I've filled out the rest of this outline, but it does follow a really simple pattern. Verse 1 sets up the story. Verse 2 expands on the story. And verse 3 gives us another angle. The bridge is usually the section that gives us a big, intense summary or a plot twist. And in this case, she gives us a really epic, intense, wonderful summary. Another thing to notice in the verses of this song is that she keeps repeating the lyric, "Today I drove through the suburbs." It's always the third line of each verse, and each time she sings it, it's followed by something a little bit different, and she kind of amps up the intensity with each repetition. So now's a great opportunity to brainstorm. So what's your song gonna be about? In the case of my song, I've chosen going to a cafe, because I figure that's something that you could do with a partner, but also something that would feel really sad to do without that same partner. Maybe the two characters used to go to this cafe every weekend, and it just feels sad to be there without the other person. So maybe you could choose going on a picnic, or walking along the beach, or reading books in a book club. You could even choose something like living in an apartment after your live-in partner has left. Granted, this is a song about a teenager, so that might be a few years in the future for characters around the same age. So maybe a better idea would be something like graduation. Maybe you're at your high school graduation and you and your partner used to be really excited about graduating together or going off to the same college, but maybe they've changed schools or you just don't want to spend as much time together anymore. Whatever you decide to choose, this is the moment to fill in those blanks. This is the outline that I came up with. Verse 1 sets up the fact that we used to go to this cafe together, and now I'm there without you. In verse 2, I'm going to take that hint from Driver's License, and I'm going to write about what I imagine the other person is doing. Maybe they've decided to quit coffee, or maybe they go to another cafe now. Maybe they're with another girl. And in verse 3, I'm going to do exactly what she did in verse 3 of Driver's License, which is to say that I know that I should move on, but I just don't want to. For my bridge, I'm just going to use some coffee shop imagery, and I'm going to be giving that main idea of I love you, I miss you, etc. The thing that really drives this song is something called a pedal point. A pedal point is one note repeating and repeating underneath the rest of the chords and melody, which basically feels like it's tethering you to whatever the key is. In the music video, you can see Olivia just playing that one note over and over on a piano, and that's exactly what this pedal point is. Pedal points are extremely effective, and the reason for that is that it gives us something to latch onto. The chords rotate through their progression, and the melody kind of goes all over the place, but that pedal point just keeps us at home. And the reason that I think it works so well in this song especially is that, first of all, it's imitating the sound that that car door would be making if it were just left open, which I think could maybe be a metaphor for the fact that her door is always open to this person she's no longer with. It also helps to set the scene right off the bat. We know within the first 3 seconds of this song that it's going to be about cars and about driving. The other thing that that pedal point is doing in this song is building up an intense amount of tension. As we're listening through the verse, we know that something is gonna have to change. Playing that one note over and over is just not sustainable. So while it's really driving the sound, we're also waiting for a break. We want something new, and we're ready when that something new comes along, because that tension has really been building throughout the entire song so far. I think that's part of what makes our chorus really interesting, but I also think it's what makes that bridge feel so epic. It's really the only part of the song that doesn't have any semblance of that pedal point. And at that point, it feels like we've been strapped to the ground the whole time, and now we're like free-floating balloons all of a sudden. So what that means for your song is that we're gonna start with a pedal point. I'm gonna choose a C for mine, so if you want the easiest possible method, start with a C in your song as well. Just play that C over and over on your piano, or your guitar, or whatever. And that's going to be the basis for the harmony in your verses. The verses in this song follow a really common chord progression. All it is 1, 6, 4, 1, which in the case of my song is going to be C, A minor, F, C. The chord progression changes a little bit when we get to the chorus, and really the beginning of it is just following the 4 chord and the 1 chord and the 4 chord and the 1 chord. And then after that point, she bounces around a little bit so that for the second half of the chorus, you get this different chord happening on every quarter note. In the song, this has a really nice effect because the melody notes are the same each time it goes through these quarter notes toward the end. So those changing chords give a different context to those notes every time we hear them. In the case of Driver's License, Olivia starts on the same note as that pedal point, just up the octave. She then goes to me in the same key. So in the key of C, that would be a C going to an E. Feel free to use that in the beginning or don't. That's totally up to you. It's whatever you prefer. But I honestly think that the verse is the most fun time to just play around with whatever sounds good to you. Remember that your song is inspired by Driver's License. You don't want it to sound exactly like it. So go ahead and play here and just have fun with whatever chords and whatever melody and whatever lyrics you enjoy. When it comes to the lyrics in this section, use your outline and just start building from there. Try to come up with words that rhyme. Use that third line as the same repeating thing each time. And don't worry if it's not perfect right away. It's better to finish your entire song and then go back and edit than it is to get stuck halfway through and really have nothing to show for it. So here's what I came up with.
That guy with the bow ties ordered his regular. I watched the waitress clear the plates away. Don't know why I keep coming here, just to listen in and imagine what you'd say. Maybe you've stopped drinking coffee, or you're with another girl in another place. Don't know why I keep coming here. After all this time, I can't quit this cafe.
Notice that in my song, I used that pedal point I used the repeating lyric every third line, and I incorporated a bunch of my senses, which really just helps to bring the listener into the story. As I mentioned before, the melody is something you can kind of just make up on the spot, which, to be honest, is exactly what I did. In my opinion, the most interesting thing in this song is the chorus, and the melody here is actually pretty simple. We're just going up the scale, and then going back down the scale. It's mostly stepwise motion here with just a couple of skips. So for my melody, I'm going to do pretty much the exact same thing.
You said I was enough. So why am I the only one still alive? This burn that you left on my tongue in the late summer heat still feels the same, staring at an empty seat.
Notice that I've continued the coffee shop imagery by using that image of a burn on your tongue, like you would get from coffee, and I've also ended my chorus on a punchline. When I used the word heat, I was setting up a rhyme, which was supposed to kind of get you on the edge of your seat, thinking of words that could rhyme with heat. So when you actually hear the word seat, your brain kind of goes, oh yeah, I did it. And you get a little bit of a rush from having been right. I of course chose the line empty seat because that's exactly what we were talking about in the beginning of this video. That Olivia is taking this concept of the absence of another person, as opposed to the person themselves. Now at this point, I have a really solid start for my song, and all I have to do is finish my third verse and my bridge. The third verse is a lot easier because, first of all, my outline is already guiding me in the direction I need to go, but also because the melody is already written, so I don't have to worry about doing all that extra work. So here are the lyrics I came up with. I think the bridge of the song is really fun because now we've gone to the relative minor. So we're actually going to start our bridge on that 6th chord, or in my case, an A minor. In Driver's License, she uses a 16-bar bridge. So it's kind of like a doubled bridge, and I'm going to do the same in my song. I'm also going to be using that coffee shop imagery, that reiteration of my point that I love you, I miss you, and I'm going to be using a very well-placed F-bomb because driving home the point, feeling somewhat edgy, why not?
I've been staring out the window at the pouring rain, 'cause being here without you, it's so fucking strange. All the conversations rattle in my brain. Come back to me, babe. I've been waiting for someone to call my name. 'Cause being here without you, it's so fucking strange. There's not a single moment that I would change. Come back to me, babe.
So that is my entire song. I hope this video was helpful in writing your own version of Driver's License, and if it was, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Also, leave a like if you liked it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I would love to see you around here again, and of course ring that little bell if you want to be notified the next time I post.